In fact, you should attach the final remaining micrograms of credibility you still possess on your person to push in this piss-poor nonsense and accomplish precisely nothing in the process but utterly embarrassing yourself being caught, once again, lying about strangers on the internet. But we expect laziness and libel from these cum-burping bitches. No one whatsoever surprised when Glandy Worski peers out from the coke cloud, flanked by an anonymous autistic asteroid who, if chins were brains, would rule the fucking world, pauses momentarily to comb an drama website that openly admits to lying its dick off from dawn to damn dusk, all to tank the remaining relevance of the Diabeto Casino. And as for Gash JT, the fart huffing hack who honestly confuses himself with an independent journalist, such that he's still spurging about stolen scoops that if his character in this instance is any indication, he likely stole from someone else. Also, he could slap white text on a wildly original thumbnail and express socially acceptable opinions on the 8 entire members of his imbecilic audience. Ah, well, what you lack in talent, you make up for in chromosomes. Look at the bright side, bud. I've ended bigger careers of infinitely more talented individuals in a 5-minute rant. You only took me 30 seconds. Walk it off, asshole. I hear they're hiring at IKEA.
For many months now, Kino Casino, Smash JT, and others have been dogpiling on Razer Fist. He remained silent until just a few weeks ago and gave this excruciating rebuttal. And for those of you who don't know about these allegations, let me show you what they were.
But what if I told you that this man is a groomer who dated an underage kid and I have definitive proof? I did a lot of research to get the evidence I need for this video, so please watch the whole thing to the end and share this with everyone you know, because this man is a danger to children. This man is 39 years old and he dated a woman who is underage, and I've also proved that he makes dirty videos on the internet. So everyone, make sure to share this video around, because this man, Razer Fist, is a danger to children. He's been getting away with this for years. People have been bringing this up for years and he always just got away with it. He shouldn't be allowed to get away with this any longer. He is a disgusting, vile human being. Terrible, terrible human being.
Razer Fist is being accused of grooming a minor, making dirty videos on the internet, and also abusing his girlfriend. There wasn't definitive proof for these claims, but it is true that these allegations had been floating around for years. Just take a look at what happened to Razer Fist when he went on Chrissy Mayr's show back in 2023.
Okay, the dashing rogue. Hey, Razer Fist, remember when you were dating a 15-year-old at 30? Uh-oh, is this a troll?
It's just drama bullshit. It's nonsense.
We all have it.
At that time, and also in the past few months, Razer Fist hadn't responded to these allegations. Listen to his explanation as to why.
I tend to hold with a quote from the great John Milton. The best apology for false accusers is silence, sufferance, and honest deeds set against dishonest words. But I also knew that while the accusations were libelous and shockingly simple to disprove, they were also entirely too lurid for some talent-bereft drama-humping half-wits not to make the mistake of attaching their channels, reputations, and indeed their entire careers to, after which I would drop my reams upon reams of receipts and end their careers overnight. So I hope you fellas enjoyed the 2-week victory lap I allowed you all to have, because now karma comes to collect.
Razer Fist said that he gave people like Smash JT and Kino Casino a victory lap, and let's take a quick look to see exactly what they had said.
Before this point, it was a lot of he said, she said, and where this road goes gets very dark.
I dated a pretty well-known right-leaning asshole, she means Razer Fist, from 15 to 20. I will repeat, she dated Razer Fist from ages 15 to 20.
So here Smash JT and the Kino Casino guys are showing a tweet from Eve, Razer Fist's ex-girlfriend, saying that she dated him from 15 to 20. Now you might be thinking that maybe she meant the year 2015 to 2020. According to this tweet here, she was born in the year 2000, so those two things would actually be synonymous. Razer Fist explains that if he was dating her while she was 15, that would have had to have been in the year 2015. And he says that the timeline just wouldn't pan out.
So, as internet sleuths have already deduced, due to the age and birth date of the accuser, in order for this relationship to have occurred when they say it did, I would have had to be dating this person in, or throughout, 2015. Any later than this and the entire timeline collapses. Fortunately for me, 2015 was also significant in that it's the same year I began streaming in earnest. The name of that series is Razer Fist Arcade, and the entire thing is publicly available in a single handy playlist on my channel's front page and has been since 2015. In fact, if you click on only the third video on that playlist, a live stream of the game Thief 4 that originally aired on March 18th, 2015, you can disprove these allegations within about 30 seconds. Because at that point in the video, a woman's voice can be heard.
Do you ever plan on playing or reviewing the original Dark Souls?
Yeah, I've heard the original Dark Souls is a lot better than 2. Hold on, there is actually... My lady just hurt herself. There is actually a way to get...
The identity of the voice? My actual girlfriend at the time. A 26-year-old white woman with a high soprano voice, as contrasted with the lower Latina voice of the accuser. She was my earliest co-host on Razer Fist Arcade. She interacted fairly and warmly with my audience, hence why they affectionately named her Lady Fist, which is why I find it so unctuous that drama-humping douchebags found it necessary to write her out of existence in order to forward a false narrative about a relationship I was not in at this time.
Razer Fist says that he couldn't have been dating Eve because he was actually dating a different lady at this time, though it is possible that he could have been double timing or perhaps just communicating with Eve and not actually dating with her. Maybe she was just an obsessed fan, or she was an on and off side piece. Or maybe she was just lying about the timelines. Perhaps that's what this clip here indicates.
And here again, on the subject of the entire underage narrative being nothing but a coordinated blackmail and smear campaign, indeed, for an admission of the fact that all of my girlfriends, including her, were very much of age, I don't want you to believe me. I want you to believe her.
I haven't leaked anything. I haven't mentioned anything. I haven't messaged anyone. I haven't...
But the word for that is blackmail, when you threaten to do it. And that was my entire point to begin with, this crap about me being a predator and a pedophile. How freaking dare you? My girlfriends have been my age or older.
I know.
Here he says that all of his girlfriends had been his age or older. Razer is currently 40 years old. In 2020, when they were dating, he would have been 35. And if she really is 20, which Razer also seemed to indicate, that means there's a 15-year age gap. That's by no means at all illegal, but I also wouldn't describe her as his age or older. I think Razer may have been referring to his previous girlfriends there, but we don't have the complete conversation. So is Eve really born in the year 2000? I don't know. But in that clip at least, it seemed like she agreed with Razer that the claim that he was dating a minor was off base. It's also important to note that she's deleted said posts on Twitter too. Now, we also discussed too how the word dating is a little nebulous. What does that exactly mean? Razer Fist elaborates a little more.
All the dimwits and dipshits typing the words, "He slept with a child" in their thumbnails. Not only was she of age by her own admission, I never proposed marriage, and thus we never slept together. But once again, I do not want you to take my word for it. Instead, I want you to do exactly what you've already been doing. I want you to take her word for it without any proof or research of your own of any kind.
Razer Fist claims that they were cohabitating but not having sex. Obviously, when you're Christian, you're supposed to wait to have sex till after you're married, but you're also supposed to wait before you cohabitate too. And honestly, if someone is living with their boyfriend or girlfriend, I find it really hard to believe that they're abstinent. Why else would you live under the same roof? To me, this seems like the whole Bill Clinton argument.
When I was in England, I experimented with marijuana a time or two, and I didn't like it, and didn't inhale, and never tried it again.
I didn't inhale. I did not have sex with that woman. But he also uses a voice recording to support this claim that they were being abstinent while living together.
If anybody were to come up to ask me and say, "Hey, how's Razer? How's living with Razer?" "Oh, he's a lying piece of shit."
Except that's not true.
Are you still a virgin? "Yeah, I'm still a virgin." "Oh, but I thought you lived with your boyfriend." "Yep, still a virgin."
Here she says that despite the fact she was living with Razer Fist, she was still a virgin. I could also see her saying that, too, to just kind of like insult his manhood a bit. You know, like, oh, I haven't actually had sex. But who knows, maybe they're cohabitating and not having sex. Maybe his mom and dad came to bundle them together every night. And maybe Bill Clinton didn't actually inhale. Now, funnily enough, those posts made by Razer Fist's ex-girlfriend saying that they were dating while they were underage wasn't the most troubling thing in the eyes of Smash JT. Let's take a look at what really concerned him.
So that was some of the he said, she said stuff that, sure, you can raise an eyebrow and kind of say, that's a little bit suspicious, that's odd, that's weird. If we are to believe these people, then wow, okay, that's wild. These are allegations. They're very wild allegations, but holy crap, if they're true, that is some serious stuff. And that's the way I was looking at it until I kept watching. And then they showed a video that had been leaked from apparently his ex-girlfriend that was being held captive in a way at his house. Allegedly. And what transpires in this video, it's not for the faint of heart.
We get this video leaking.
What?
Eve leaked this video around this time, and this is Eve fighting with Razer Fist.
No.
In the house, this is their domestic incident. And we have here abusive. Silent Ones doesn't know. A lot of people don't know about this lore, but it's all true.
This is all new to me.
It's all true, and it gets crazier
Does
and crazier.
anyone know about this?
Even
I don't know any about
the
this.
next revelations will blow your mind if you don't know. This is him wanting to assert control over a young and vulnerable woman to make her completely dependent and submissive to him. And you can see the abuse that he's putting her through now. Mind you, this is kindly, Christian, righteous preacher Razer Fist. See how he runs his household.
Wait.
Here, the morbidly obese guy from Kino Casino says that Razer Fist did abuse his ex-girlfriend, and that all of this information is true. Here, he is not making a supposition, and he's not quoting other people. He's making a direct claim. Now, this is very important because this could be used against him in court if Razer Fist decides to sue. Smash JT also made a distinction between this video clip and others. He said that this might just be hearsay, or he wasn't sure what to believe until he saw this video clip. Basically saying that means everything in this video is true and it makes sense, and there isn't any missing context. He also says that his girlfriend was being held captive in a way, but then adds a disclaimer, allegedly. I don't know if that'll be enough to give him immunity, but I guess we'll just have to find out if this ever does go to court. Now let's take a look at how they responded to the rest of this clip.
Okay, then you need to go.
Well, how did you come to that conclusion? That doesn't even make any sense.
Because I am telling you, I don't want you to work that job.
Well, too fucking bad. I have the job and I'm not gonna quit.
Then fuck you. Out.
No.
Listen to this shit. This is psychotic stuff. This is abusive. This is textbook abuse and control.
Gives him money to help pay bills?
No.
You realize they can just remove your name from the fucking lease. You don't pay rent.
I don't care.
So he's threatening her with homelessness to control her, and then he wonders why she might want to have a job to have her own money. You know, I could just throw you out at any time onto the street, right?
Psychotic.
Yeah, that's why I want this job.
They're calling it Razer Fist.
To go to sleep. I am tired. And that's how it's going to go down. Stare me down.
He doesn't want her to have a job to make money to be able to support herself and not be out on the streets so that he can trap her in his house.
Obviously, this isn't a good look for Razer, and the phone calls which he'd leaked aren't a good look for his girlfriend. In both situations, we don't really know the full context, what actually happened, what was the full conversation about. It's very likely that neither of them were on their best behavior when the other person was recording them, especially if they didn't know that they were being recorded. In both situations, they could have been trying to provoke altercations and then acted like an innocent angel once they decided to hit the play button. The other person was still reacting as if they were in a fight. Regardless as to what may have sparked this conflict, it's very clear that they're having an argument about Eve's job, and Razer was telling her to quit it. The two of them are cohabitating but not married, which raises a lot of very weird financial questions. How much say do they have about the other person's work, about how they should spend their time? They're not married, but they're living in the same house. It gets very complicated. Razer Fist claims he was being abused by his 20-year-old ex-girlfriend, and he cites a recorded phone call as proof.
But where's the accuser? All we've heard is one side. Well, fortunately for you, I have just the thing, and I think it'll help clear up a lot more than just a vocal analysis, such as why these libelous accusations emerged at all, and who, if anyone, was actually emotionally and physically abused in that relationship.
Do you think that I cannot hurt you without the power of social media?
What?
Because I promise you I can. I have a bunch of shit that'll hurt you.
Okay, nice. Another threat. Very nice.
I'm just telling you the cold hard facts. I am aware of a bunch of shit that'll hurt your feelings. So, what the fuck do I need social media for if I want to hurt your feelings and make you hurt?
So that's Wow. So we're up to threat number 3. I guess 6. If, 4, 5, 5 if we count the "I will slit your throat or shoot you."
Yeah, because you were talking to me condescending, and I don't like that.
I was not trying to condescend. I was trying to get off the phone and calm things down.
Part you didn't understand, like, I want you to deactivate your Twitter. You're not allowed to stream this week, and that's going to be the deal. Otherwise,
what?
You can hang up and we'll never talk again, okay?
What?
I'm making you a deal.
Took a turn, didn't it? What you've just heard was an admission to and justification of a murder threat. One that my ex, as a gun owner, actually possessed the means to carry out, might I add. On one occasion, she threatened to murder my wheelchair-bound father, my former roommate, who you all knew as McGill, and she even threatened to shoot and kill the dog we picked out together, Cicero. Now, that might seem extreme, unless, of course, you've heard names like Jodi Arias or Amber Heard.
Here in this phone call, she threatened to hurt Razer Fist and also apparently had made some death threats too. She also appears to have sent this text message which says that she wanted to chop his penis off and feed it to him. But are these just empty threats?
Because I learned, after ending the relationship following an actual murder attempt, that my ex had been diagnosed with BPD and HPD, and if that sounds at all familiar, it's because it's the same cocktail of mental illnesses that Amber Heard has. At which point I studied the condition at length, chiefly with a book called Stop Walking on Eggshells, the introduction for which says in so many words, run! And after she attempted to make good on her threat to murder me, having already threatened to invent a panoply of lies about me to embarrass me in public, as you just heard her admit to over a phone call, I finally resolved to do exactly that. But even after finally extricating myself from this emotionally and physically abusive relationship, the threats of blackmail intensified and finally escalated to action. If you watch the Johnny Depp trial, you have some faint notion of what I dealt with for over a year. False accusations, which the accuser actually bragged about inventing and spreading, privately leaked recordings, absent context of any kind, where she suddenly puts on a Little Bo Peep voice and pretends she didn't initiate an argument entirely, often with preceding physical abuse. It's Johnny Depp and Amber Heard all over again, and a baffling number of leering retards took Amber Heard's side without once engaging in the aforementioned 30 seconds of research required to disprove them, all because they were felted by a fucking tweet!
It sounds like Razer Fist is saying that she had attempted to murder him. He also shows his text message in which he refers to Razer as hubby or husband. She also says that she wants to make this work, but she has BPD. Razer Fist said his girlfriend had the same conditions as Amber Heard. Razer Fist compares his situation with his ex-girlfriend to that of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. He also criticizes people who sided with his ex-girlfriend, and says that they did it just because they disagreed with one of his tweets. Interestingly, Smash JT does admit that is the source of why people are suddenly believing his ex-girlfriend. Smash JT says the only reason people are digging up this information is because of Goonergate, the tweet which Razer Fist was mentioning earlier. Now, I'm not going to explain all of that. If you'd like to learn more, feel free to stick to the end of this video, where I give a brief explanation as to what Goonergate is.
A lot of these allegations and things appeared a few years ago, and he hid from it, stuck his head in the sand, and just waited for it to blow over. And now he came back, and he starts defending Goonergate, and people start looking into him again, and they're like, whoa, hold up. This is some wild stuff.
Okay, so this is Razer Fist jerk-off tape that he uploaded to the internet in 2011.
This brings us to the final accusation that Razer Fist was making dirty videos on the internet. Before we get to Razer Fist's rebuttal, let me show you what that morbidly obese guy on Kino Casino did once on a live stream. Now let's see what Razer Fist had to say about this dirty video.
But what about the most salacious allegation of all? The ones Blandy Worski and the Diabetosaurus next to him were shaking their talentless tits about for 20 minutes at a stretch, blissfully unaware it was the prologue to the end of their YouTube career. A decade-old, long discredited screenshot from a porn website that no longer exists, featuring incorrect doxing information that's grainier than the Zapruder footage. By all means! Let's dive into that. Because while you world-smashing web sleuths were spending all of 5 seconds repeating lies on an e-drama website whose own page includes a disclaimer that it is, quote, an online humor and satire source, and thus that you shouldn't take anything said therein even the slightest bit seriously, I did some digging of my own, and I didn't have to dig far. You see, the allegation is these videos are not only of me, but the proof is that I uploaded them myself. Now, as an author, I would say I have a fairly distinct authorial voice, marked by bizarre Victorian nomenclature interspersed with the odd peppering of profanity. So in doing some research, I discovered that the video in question was actually uploaded more than once by the same original user on that porn website. And in examining the description of said video, I would imagine my unique grammatical style would be impossible to camouflage. So let's dig in. The first video, entitled Denky Face / Carrot Head, self-deprecating sort that I am, goes on to say, quote, I am that coward, capital C, who have nothing to do just to sit at my cam and review stupid games, capital G. This is the video of my jerking off, capitalized all. Oh, but now here's a curious cultural artifact for any actual Americans out there, because what follows is a phone number that's not only incorrect, but written not in the American, but the international phone number format, meaning with a plus sign, followed by a country code of 1 for America, followed by an unspaced, unhyphenated phone number thereafter, as we in the hinterland of Arizona are so inclined to do. Of course, I remember this video even better than that, because back in April of 2011, the selfsame barely literate troll uploaded this false video to YouTube and linked it to my fans. See, back then, YouTube listed each and every one of your subscribers on your page publicly. So said troll was able to scroll down the list and DM it to them at whim. Some of you rageaholics may still remember this. And so in April of 2011, I shut my channel down only briefly in order to protect my own fans from being spammed by this spurg, as there was no other way to hide my public subscribers. If you're wondering, by the way, why my channel was founded in May of 2009, but none of my videos date to before April of 2011, mystery solved. I had to re-upload them all. Mind you, the video was promptly removed, but the account was still up long enough that I did nab a screenshot of some of the reactions at the time. And it's in combing over the account in question that we see more sterling examples of my writing style. Quote, I'm Daniel Razor Butt. Some know me as Donkey Face, Carrot Head, Dumb Shit, and ... But I prefer Jerkaholic. Yeah, I do believe you cracked the case of my illicit gay porn career, Columbo. You should roll with this narrative without doing any research whatsoever because you're cranky about a tweet!
Now you may wonder, how did the Kino Casino guys respond to Razer Fist's rebuttal?
We read some tweets and like made some jokes. And then it's like, okay, well, that's it. Move on. You made your part, you know? That's it. So I don't have anything else to say. Like, if there's going to be like a legal issue, like reach out to us with your fucking shit and we'll retract if we lied about anything or whatever. But
do you think that Razer Fist is going to pursue this further? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or...
You are a hoe ass